Rube, the last time we talked, the Eagles had just played their quickest football game ever. We didn't know what was going to happen in that night game, but the Cowboys end up losing.
Yeah, Vikings. I was talking to our podcast, or I'm sorry, our post game producer and huddle producer, Mike Mulhern, on the way out, and I said, I really feel like the Vikings are going to beat Dallas, and he agreed. And good for them. I mean, they got nothing to play for. They went in there and played hard. Dallas's defense is just awful. They outscored them. J.J. McCarthy made some big throws, and they won. So that lowered the magic number to 1. The only way the Eagles don't win the division now is if Dallas wins out and Eagles lose out. So magic number is 1. I think they're going to take care of it Saturday afternoon, evening, and then we can kind of move on to what's next. But it got a little hairy there. It's still not over, but I feel like they're on the brink.
This is the Eagle Eye Podcast, brought to you by Nissan, Ruben Frank, and Dave Zangaro. The Eagles are 9-5. You're right. They are now 1 game away from winning the division. They don't have to worry about the Cowboys. If they just beat the Commanders on Saturday, they will win the division the first time in 20 years. The same team will win the division in back-to-back years if they can get it done.
Yeah, Eagles won it 4 years in a row there from 2001 to 2004. And Dallas made it interesting there. Eagles lost some games. Dallas kind of started winning some games. I never felt like they were going to blow it. You looked at the schedule, and there were games here that they should win. You can't ask for any more to finish. To have back-to-back opportunities to beat the Raiders and Washington, both with former Eagles backups quarterbacking them. 2 bad teams. So I think they'll get it taken care of and get it done early and figure out what they want to do with the last couple games, and if they still have a chance to move up in seedings. But yeah, I mean, the Raiders game, look, they did what they had to do, and they did it in style. And I think everyone kind of feels a lot better about where the team is now than before that game began.
Yeah, and I want to get into that in a little bit, just like how much better should fans feel after that game against a really awful opponent. But you look at the division right now, and you're right. For a while, it got a little hairy, but I think the Cowboys' defense was always going to let them down. It's just it wasn't good enough, and I think everyone knew that. It was just a matter of when it would let them down, and it let them down in Week 15. So it probably won't matter the rest of the way. The Eagles are likely going to win the division.
But you also looked at Dallas's schedule, and they do have the Chargers, but they finished with Washington and the Giants. So you also felt like, you can't mess around. You really got to take care of this and get it done.
Yeah, and they did. Eagles did what they had to do. Question for
Almost.
you. We have a weird 5 p.m. game on Saturday, and you were struggling. I'm struggling with it too. Do we call that afternoon or evening? Where does the line lie?
Yeah, I don't know, because it's not a night game. I go by what time it starts, I guess. So I'll call it an afternoon game.
Is 5 p.m. afternoon?
Yeah, it's afternoon.
Well, okay.
I mean,
11:59 is afternoon.
No, 11:59 is before noon.
The other way.
Oh, I think evening starts at 6. So
Is that a hard rule? I feel like when it's wintertime and it gets dark early, 5 p.m. is evening.
it's now getting dark later. We're at the point now where it's starting to stay light a little bit longer every day, which is big, I guess. Yeah, I know, like when you do the StatHead time of game search, it's a night game is 7 or after. So I'll go with that, because StatHead basically rules my life anyway. So,
Okay.
But I consider it an afternoon
We're
game.
calling it a late afternoon
Although,
game.
if evening starts at 6, more of the game will be played in the evening than the afternoon.
And it's dark out. And once it gets to like dark early like this, if I didn't have to work, I'm not leaving once it gets dark, I'm inside.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. And don't email us because, but my inclination is it's an afternoon game, but I could be talked out of that.
It's been a weird schedule this year. The Eagles play like every day of the week. There was the funny clip in Nick's post-game speech where he says, "We've got a short week again," and someone goes, "What?" It's got to be a little tricky for NFL players to wrap their minds around every week. They're just playing at a weird day and a weird time. These are creatures of habit. Like everyone in the NFL is very regimented, and this has been kind of a trying season from that perspective.
Yeah, and Nick made a good point at his presser on today is what, Tuesday?
On today.
Which is he said, when you have success, you're going to get those, you're going to get those games that are played when no one else is playing. So yeah, a lot of night games, a lot of primetime games and Saturday games and a Friday game and Monday night games. People want to watch this team. Half of them want to watch them blow up, and the other half want to watch them win. Everybody wants to watch them, and they're an intriguing team. Look, they won the Super Bowl last year. They've got this quarterback who, engenders a lot of extreme emotions. They got a lot of personalities. I think it's a team that people around the country probably really want to see.
Yeah, and I think that's been true of this team long before they won the Super Bowl last year. They get a lot of primetime
They've had the
games.
second most primetime games since Buddy was here, behind only the Cowboys,
Yeah.
and a lot of them are Eagles Cowboys.
All right, so we talked about it a little bit. They crushed the Raiders. That's a bad team. That is a team that not only are they bad, look a little checked out right now
Yeah.
on both sides of the ball. I think they're planning their off-season vacations a little bit. What do you make of it? Because
Although I'm sure
obviously,
somebody asked someone in the locker room, "Can you guys build on that goal line stand at the end of the game?"
I doubt it.
No,
Yeah,
probably
I
not.
don't think there's much hope for that team as they play out this slate.
They're a mess.
They're really bad.
Um,
Yeah. So what do you take from it? Right? Like, obviously the Eagles don't control who's on the schedule. This was the game up. They played really well, but they also were coming off of three straight losses. We've seen the flaws in this team. I don't think anyone is all of a sudden like feeling magically better about this team, but you should be feeling better. It's just like
how
degrees
much?
of that. How
Yeah.
much?
It's a great question. It's something I've been thinking about a lot. Like, if they had won 23-20, I'd feel differently.
Mhm.
They would have won and they would have gotten to 9 wins and they would have taken a big step toward the division. But I think they really needed something like this, a blowout. And pardon me, it could have been, I mean, they could have scored more points if they wanted to. Um, but I think
I think they wanted to.
well, they could have left the starters in. They
Oh,
didn't. They could have scored probably 45 if they really tried, 38 at least. But anyway, 39 they could have gone for two. But the point is, I think it was important for their psyche as a team to really put a team away, whoever it was. They hadn't done that other than the one second Giants game. Um, and even they scored 17 points or whatever it was. So to have such a lopsided game and to play at that level on both sides of the ball, I think you temper it a little bit because it's the Raiders, but I think that it was something this team needed to just put a team away and stomp on them and finish them off and leave no doubt about it and be able to play Tanner McKee and Tank Bigsby and whatever other backups you want at the end of the game. I think that was important.
yeah. I mean, there's a tangible part of that too, like the actual rest for
Yeah,
those players, not just getting the starters out, but also they didn't play many snaps on defense after playing a lot of snaps
right.
in recent weeks. So I think there's like a tangible benefit to it, but I think there's a morale benefit to it as well. Like they finally see proof of concept here. They go out and they handle their business offensively, defensively, special teams, all three phases. On defense, I think there was already a confidence there, and there should be. And from my perspective, I expect the defense to be really good. Now, on offense, I think that's where the biggest boost you hope comes from because they had not been a cohesive offense for most of this season. And as bad as the Raiders' offense is, their defense isn't quite as bad. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's not a good defense, but it's certainly better than their offense. So, uh, that Eagles' success to me means a little something on that side of the football.
Yeah, I would agree. And also, like, I felt kind of funny writing that story that I wrote off Patullo's interview last week that if you looked past the interceptions, there really were some positives on offense because they were moving the ball. But I think that was a real thing.
Mhm.
And I think they were able to build on that. And now you can kind of say, well, we've moved the ball pretty well the last two games. The turnovers killed us against the Chargers, but there haven't been any. I mean, when you're as bad as they were on offense for most of the year, I think you take that and you say, there is some progress here. There is some growth, and there is something to feel a little bit better about. Um, you know, you don't want to say, I mean, that's like, how was the play other than that, Mrs. Lincoln? But the turnovers ended a lot of promising drives. And so I think you kind of go into these last couple games and in the postseason feeling a little bit better about the offense. They did some different things. They were balanced. They converted on third down. Um, I think they're running the ball a little bit better than they were. They're not giving up sacks. 4 sacks in the last 6 games is really impressive, and they face some good pass rushers. So I do think that there is reason for a modicum of optimism.
I'd even go more than modicum, honestly. Like I think we've seen in back-to-back weeks
I just like using the word
them
modicum.
start to gain some traction offensively. And even though you're not going to play the Raiders each week, I think there are things that, and we've talked about this going into the Raiders game, like there are things that they can try to lean on that have given them some success. Limited sample size, certainly for some of them, but under center play action, right? Like it looked right. And it like what they did against the Raiders, to me, they just passed the eye test. And sometimes it's like we can look at all the numbers, but did it look like an offense with a plan? Did it look like they were using plays to set up other plays? And the answer to those questions, at least in that game, was finally yes. Things that we had been wanting to see for months, they finally showed a little bit. And I don't know how easy it's going to be to duplicate those things week in and week out, but at least there's some sort of a template now where you did these things at a decently high level. You got Jalen Hurts involved in the QB run game, which it needs to be a part of it. Like it just does. It looks like not only does it help them uh, gain yards, keep drives alive, but it looks like it gets him into the flow of the game. And there's no real way to quantify that, but it just looks like it, right? Do you agree with that?
I do. I do. You made that point the other day, and I couldn't agree more. And I also think it just makes them harder to defend. Just the threat of it. If a defense is thinking, well, he's running more, he might take off now. If they don't think he's going to do that, they're just easier to defend. So I think it does a lot of things for you. I mean, he ran for 5 first downs.
Yeah.
There have been a lot of games this year they didn't have 5 first downs at all, including the week before. And the
And it
week,
was more than scrambles. It was like
yeah,
design runs,
yeah. I
which
just think that's
yeah.
so important for this offense, just to have that dimension. I don't know why it went away. I don't know if they're trying to protect him. I don't know if he was more reluctant. Um, he says he's just running what's called tersely, said that tersely. Um, but I do know that it's got to be at least a part of what they do moving forward.
Yeah, it's not like you want to run it all the time. I think you have to pick and choose your spots a little bit, but like a seed of doubt in the defense is so important because we saw that they were then able to use that to set up other plays, like the Dallas Goddard play on the like the left flat. Like that's a big play that gets set up because of the threat of Jalen Hurts potentially being a runner. So it needs to be a part of it. Doesn't need to be what they major in, but it needs to be there. And this game just finally looked like they had a plan. It looked like the same guy was calling all the plays, which it hasn't looked like
Yeah.
that. And I know it's been Kevin Patullo all year, but sometimes it doesn't look like it's the same guy calling all the plays because there's no connective tissue in what he's been sequencing the plays with, and there was finally that element to it on Sunday.
I also think the fact that they didn't commit a lot of penalties on
Hmm.
first down, there weren't any sacks on first down. It just made third down more manageable. I mean, they've been so bad on third down. I might have said this after the game, but their average third down going into Sunday was 7.8 yards, which is crazy.
It's a tough place to live.
And the Browns were worst at 7.9, so they were second worst in the league. Their average third down on in the Raiders game was like 3.4 yards. I mean, that's a huge difference, and they were 10 for 13. Um, it's a lot easier to find a play and get you 3.5 yards than a play and get you 9 yards or 8 yards. So um, they stayed out of third and longs and they converted them and they extended drives, and it's a pretty basic roadmap for making the offense look good.
Yeah, and I think at times the Eagles were kind of using third and long as an excuse.
Yeah,
We've joked about it. Like sometimes they acted like that happened to them. Like they got dropped out of a helicopter into a 3rd and 8, and you're like, no, like you put yourselves in that position. So I feel like at times this year it's been an excuse. Like, well, of course we're in 3rd and 8, and it's like, well, you did that, but you're right. I mean, them playing ahead of the sticks makes a big difference. And I think it gives Kevin Patullo a leg up to actually call plays and to be a successful play caller when they're not in these, really difficult situations to claw their way out of.
Yeah, you have the whole playbook. You're not in third and throw all the time. You're in third and run the offense. So
Mhm.
that's a big difference.
Yeah. So where do we land on this? Feeling pretty good after the Raiders game. Not all doom and gloom, but um, you know, you want to see it again though, right? Like it's not like we saw it once and we're okay, we'll see you again in January. Like, no, you want you have 3 games left, uh, especially against the Bills, which is like their last test of a game. You want to see them operate at a high level.
Yeah, looking forward to that one. But, Washington's defense is so bad. I mean, they're worse defense than the Raiders in almost every category that I think it's another opportunity for this offense to grow and trend in the right direction and build up some momentum and feel good about themselves and go into Orchard Park, with some momentum and feeling good about the offense, even if they don't need it. And we'll see what Nick decides to do and where they are and what the standings are doing and all the possibilities. But um, the main thing is that you get to the postseason feeling like the offense is giving the team a chance, because I feel like the defense is going to hold pretty much any team below their average.
Hmm.
I don't think they're going to shut out the Rams, but if you can hold the Rams to, if you play the Rams in the postseason, if you can hold them to 23 and the offense can score 27, I mean, they're going to, in the playoffs, you're going to have to score in the high 20s, low 30s to win a lot of games. So um, I think these next few games, or however many they play the starters, are going to be more opportunities and I think the offense needs that. I think they need to go into Landover and put up another 30 something. I think it's important to just keep building that momentum because it was a long, long time without it.
Yeah, it's not FedEx Field anymore. It's Northwest Stadium.
Yeah, but it's northeast of Washington.
It's northwest of somewhere.
I guess it's northwest of like Towson. No, it'd be south. I don't know. I don't know what's southeast of there, but they're building a new stadium. Apparently, they're gonna,
Hmm.
and that's going to be the site of the old RFK.
Yeah, that's their plan.
Did you ever cover a game at RFK?
I did not.
RFK was one of my favorite stadiums. It was so old and decrepit, and the press box was hanging like from the
Don't love
next
that.
deck up. And it was open air. It was low. It was right. You're right at midfield. And there were catwalks to get there. The only way to get to the press box was on these catwalks that went over the stands.
Hmm.
So you'd go over like 30 rows of fans um, and into this hanging press box. Um, but it was the fact that it was open air and it was midfield and low. It was the best sight line ever. Um, it's hard to get out of the parking lot because it was dark and there was the exits were impossible to find. You could end up
They just trap you in there.
you would just drive around hoping to see a car that knew where it was going and you would follow it. But I liked RFK. It was yeah, it was a cool place. But
This is Northwest Federal Credit Union
oh,
is the naming, which I don't know how you look at that stadium and think we got to put our name on it. It is a pile of junk right now. But
well, the funny thing was when it was FedEx Field, it was the Commanders were the only team that wouldn't FedEx credentials to the media. Like you had to pick them up at the gate, but it was FedEx Field. But I will not miss that place. I
it's
do
not
not miss
great.
it. I wouldn't have to go there this weekend anyway.
Not great. We should mention the Eagles right now, the 3 seed in the NFC. They have a chance to be the 2 seed, like a legitimate chance to be the 2 seed. The 1 seed going to be really, really tough. You need a lot of things to fall your way. The 2 seed is definitely a possibility.
Yeah, once upon a time that would have meant first round bye.
Hmm.
No longer does. I don't like that, but yeah, the better opportunities you have to play at home, the better off you are.
We want to talk about the Pro Bowl, and not from the perspective of the actual Pro Bowl games
It's not
and
a game anymore, right?
the Pro Bowl games is what they call it. It's just a bunch of things that they do on a football field, competitions. But um, fan voting closed on Tuesday or on Monday night, and I was surprised to see the Eagles' representation wasn't very good, uh, and especially on defense. So there were 5 players who ranked in the top 5 of their position group. I want to go through them with you. The highest ranked player at any respective position was Cam Jurgens at center. at sixth. Lane Johnson, seventh at offensive tackle. Jordan Mailata, 10th at offensive tackle. Cooper DeJean, ninth at cornerback. Zach Bond, 10th at linebacker. Not a lot of representation for the Eagles in that fan voting. And there was some voting that happened after that, and it's not all fan voting that determines it, but I was a little surprised by some of that.
I guess I wasn't surprised just because I think they haven't had the year that they had last year, and I think when you have that kind of negative connotation, they're still having a good year. I mean, they're 9-5. They're going to the playoffs. 5 straight years with making the playoffs and with a winning record. Um, assuming they make the playoffs, which I think is a slam dunk. I just think that the people that vote kind of look at the downward, the downward trend and kind of just dismiss them. And there's really nobody having, and I think I made this point in my obs the other day, there's nobody on either side of the ball really having a lights out statistical year. And the O-line is kind of a different story because they don't have stats. They have, I guess, analytic stats, but nobody's got more than 5 sacks. Nobody's got more than 2 interceptions. And one of them is a defensive lineman. And the other's a safety that's out for the year. I mean, nobody's putting up huge numbers. AJ's going to get over 1,000 yards, but he's a guy that's had a couple 1,400-yard seasons. Saquon, obviously, not having the year he had. Goddard is having a good year, touchdowns, but he's like 12th in catches. There's just nobody that's moving the needle individually, which kind of speaks highly of what they've been able to do as a team because they're playing, they don't have a lot of weak spots. They just have a lot of really good players. But I think they have guys that deserve to be in the Pro Bowl. I think Zach Bond clearly, Quinion clearly. You can make a case for Jordan Davis. But none of them really jump off the stat sheet. And it'll be interesting to see how the voting goes and whether the players and the coaches vote differently. But what did they have, like 9 last year?
6.
6 last year?
It was Saquon Barkley, Jalen Carter, Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, Lane Johnson, and Zach Bond.
Yeah, I mean, there's
so like 4 of those 6 were a product of having the best run game in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean Zach Bond. I mean, his numbers are almost like, other than the tackles for loss, I think maybe the forced fumbles.
He had 6, I think, last year.
Yeah, but I mean, he's having a great year. Quinion's having an unbelievable year. Cooper DeJean is just so good. Jordan Davis. I mean, I would vote for those guys to begin with, and go from there. I mean, I don't think Cam has had a Pro Bowl year. I'd probably give Mailata a vote. I don't think he's played quite as well as he did last year. Landon, I wouldn't vote for, but it's a weird deal because I can't see anybody's getting completely ripped off here. But obviously, when you win 9 games, you're going to win your division. You have Pro Bowl players, and there's not as many alternates that go anymore because, like, when it was an actual game, like if you had an injury, like you wouldn't go. But now you can just go and do whatever skills competitions they have. You probably a lot more guys who have a minor injury go than used to. But it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Who would you say is most deserving on this team?
Quinion Mitchell.
Yeah,
I think he's one of the 2 or 3 best corners in the NFL.
But you see the sheet that the PR department gives out to the players, and it lists the player and how many interceptions he has. And these guys aren't going to sit there and say, well, what's his opposing passer rating? They're going to look at the interceptions and vote for the guys with the most. Oh, Kevin Byard's got 6. He's going.
That doesn't always work that way.
I think for a lot of players, they vote based on the stats.
Okay. To me, he'd be the top of the list. Who would be your top of the list?
Probably him and Zach Bond.
Okay. You're not going to pick one?
I'll go Bond, just to be a little different, just because he's got the plays. Nakobe has played at a Pro Bowl level. Obviously, he missed 6 games, and he's not going to go. But I mean, he's been as good as anybody on the team.
Yeah, and we should point out that Pro Bowl is different than All Pro. All Pro is more exclusive. It does mean more when you get voted an All Pro, as opposed to Pro Bowl. And some people are like, why even talking about Pro Bowl? It doesn't matter.
It does.
It does. Like unfortunately, like it carries weight when we're talking about legacies and
Contracts, backside
contracts
protection.
and like yeah, there's actually like incentives in players' contracts and escalators they hit when they get named to these teams. So maybe it shouldn't matter as much as it does, but like it ultimately it does matter. And it's a fun thing to talk about. It's a fun thing to talk about awards.
It is. And what escalators do is they increase the value of each forthcoming year in the contract as opposed to incentives that only increase that year. Um, but yeah, it's there isn't a slam dunk guy on the roster. Um,
Who's the closest, or who do you think is the most deserving on offense?
yeah, I was going to ask you that. Um,
Well, I beat you to it.
that's a tough question. I'd probably go Jordan.
I'd go Lane, and I know he's missed 4 games now, but he put in 10 games. He's been tremendous when
Yeah,
he's played. I think he's deserving. I think he's still at that level.
yeah. I
Now, if
mean,
you're going to dock him for missing the games, I get it.
yeah.
Like that is what it is.
It
But
would be good if he gets back, but
yeah,
then who knows how many he'll play? And
mhm.
but yeah, definitely. I
I
mean,
mean,
he's a
Devontae was on that pace early. The numbers have cooled down. I think Devontae has been their best receiver this year. Throwing out the stats for a minute, like I think he's been having a better year than AJ Brown. I don't think that's controversial. Uh, I think it's been a really good Devontae year, but you look around the NFC and there are some receivers just putting up major numbers that
yeah.
it's tough to leapfrog. Whether it's Jackson Smith and Jigba or George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb in Dallas, like these guys are putting up Puka Nakua for
Puka. I
God's
mean,
sake. I mean,
yeah,
like these guys are putting up such major numbers that for a receiver without those numbers to jump them, it's gonna be really tough.
yeah. Um, it's interesting. Devontae and AJ have almost the exact same number of yards with the Eagles,
Mm-hmm.
and Devontae is up like 19 yards on AJ,
Hmm.
and they're both there in 11th and 12th. So one of them is going to make the top 10 this week,
Oh wow.
and they both might, but one of them will get knocked out. So it's a kind of the competition within the competition.
Okay.
But I'll keep everyone apprised of how that goes.
So you would go Zach Bond, then Quinion,
Quinion, yeah.
and then would you go to offense or would you give me another defense?
I go Jordan Davis.
Jordan Davis, so top 3 on defense for you, which isn't crazy
Yeah,
based on the way the season's gone. Now, what point are we talking Braden Mann? I'm joking. I just want to get
he's
the
pretty
punter
good.
in there. He's been good, probably not Pro Bowl.
No,
Yeah. I mean, how about
although
a specialist like
kicking outside,
a Keely Ringo?
yeah, or the tight end Branson.
Colin Graham's been a really good special
He's
teamer.
been really good.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I guess the I guess the coach picks that, or is that voted on still?
Oh, I believe it's voted on.
Because
Might
I
be
think
wrong.
the coach, whoever ends up coaching each Pro Bowl team, has one
I
pick.
think players vote. Yeah, the special teams players get voted on.
Okay, I think that the coach picks one. So like if the Eagles lose in the NFC Championship game, Nick can pick one guy, basically, usually from his own team that he thinks got jobbed.
Which player who is not deserving of a Pro Bowl nod would you say is the most surprising going into this season?
Is most surprising.
Like going into the season, if I were to tell you this guy is not really in Pro Bowl contention, who would you say is the most surprising on this team?
So most surprising player who
Who is not in contention to be a Pro Bowler, who you thought would have been?
oh, oh, I thought you meant something different. Probably Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
Cam and Landon would be in that equation. I think they both played better, getting healthier.
I think the obvious answer is probably Saquon.
Saquon, I mean the regression we've seen from running backs. I don't know if anybody's shocked. He's still going to get over 1,000 yards. I think he's been better lately.
Yeah. I mean, I am still very firmly in that it is not Saquon
Yeah,
department or category there, but yeah, if you were to tell me he's not a Pro Bowler a year after having a 2,000 yard season, that'd be surprising.
I guess I could see him having like a $175 Saturday afternoon/evening.
So we talked about This is just a tangent now. I apologize, but the Raiders'
Yeah, I never do that. So
stacked box percentage going into that game was hovering around 50%, and it felt high in that game. It was around 57.
that's yeah.
Yeah,
And they ran into that box, and I'm glad they did
yeah,
because kept the clock moving.
they needed to, and that's why like 183 yards is 183 yards. I don't really care about the average in that game. I think
Yeah,
they did things they needed to do.
I agree totally.
Okay. Anything else on Pro Bowl before we take a break?
No,
All right. I want to take a break. When we come back, we have a bunch of questions to get to.
You deserve a car that thrills you, a car that puts goosebumps on your goosebumps. At Nissan, we've got everything from turbocharged SUVs to 100% electric vehicles that'll make your heart beat faster. Experience the thrill for yourself and shop your local Nissan store and nissanusa.com today.
Need some holiday gift inspiration? Escape the cold and catch the Phillies in Clearwater with NBC Sports Philadelphia and Philly Sports Trips. We're teaming up to bring fans the most unforgettable Philly spring training experience yet. The trip includes Phillies game tickets, beachfront accommodations, round-trip travel, all-inclusive tailgates, and more. Plus appearances from Larry Boa, Charlie Manuel, and NBC Sports Philadelphia's own Ben Davis. Book your trip today at phillysportstrips.com. We're back on the Eagle Eye Podcast, brought to you by Nissan, Ruben Frank, and Dave Zangaro. Rube, before questions, we did talk to Nick Sirianni on Tuesday, early afternoon. Kind of a weird schedule this week, condensed schedule. Anything from Nick that kind of stuck out to you that you wanted to talk about?
well, not really. He did. I think there's the last question. He was asked about Vic and what he likes about having Vic as his DC, and it was an interesting answer to me. He said for a guy that's been around that long, he said he's really flexible, and he said he's never heard him say, "Well, I'm doing it this way because I've always done it this way." He's always looking for the best way to attack an offense and the best way to use his personnel. And he said for a guy that's an older guy, I don't know if you use the phrase older, but the guy's been around a long, long time. That's a rare attribute, and I thought that was a good point.
I totally agree with that. And Vic is just so willing to do whatever it takes from like a play calling standpoint. Like, maybe he doesn't like to blitz a lot. He needs it this week. He's going to blitz a lot. Or he doesn't like to use this coverage, but he kind of thinks he needs it, so he uses it. I've always appreciated that in the 2 years we've seen Vic operate here, that he's always just willing to do those things.
Yeah, and I think he's a really good judge of talent. He seems to know who to put out there, even if we're like, "What are you doing?" Like um, yeah, it's been a fun couple of years being around him.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. They are in a good spot defensively with him at the helm. And it's kind of crazy because how much did we talk this offseason about, man, they're losing Josh Sweat and Milton Williams and Darius Slay
Slay.
and Isaiah Rodgers and all these different guys. Here we are going into week 16. It's one of the best defenses in the league.
Did you know Carson Wentz's first career interception was Slay?
Yeah, that Pittsburgh game. No,
Yeah.
not Pittsburgh game. The
Lions.
the Lions game, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Okay. I thought you had more there.
No, I guess I don't.
Okay.
Let's take some questions.
Let's do that. Eagle-Eye at NBCUni.com QR code is on the screen. I had the Steelers on the mind after last night.
How about Kenny Gainwell? He looked great.
He looked great, and then hearing Aaron Rodgers talk about him after the game was
Oh,
pretty
really?
cool. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is a big Kenny G fan. Maybe bigger than you and Nick Sirianni.
I don't know if anybody's bigger than me, but he loves throwing to him. He had like 6 catches in the first half and then had some big runs in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the tush push when Rodgers just stood like 30 yards back and just stood
That's
there?
the right move.
Totally.
Yeah. All right, from Matt. Gents, the exorcism worked. Patullo called an awesome game. Let's keep it going. Little follow-up on the exorcism.
Okay.
Okay. I thought I'd get more of that out of that from you. Okay, we'll move on.
What am I supposed to say about an exorcism? I was trying to think of some joke about my head spinning around and Finer using
You already
some kind
did
of.
that.
I know, so I got nothing else.
Okay, all right.
How many jokes can you make around an exorcism?
Well, I guess we found that limit last week. From Matt, a different Matt. Hey, Dave and Rube. With all the running and the Raiders not scoring, this game was noticeably short, about 2 hours and 30 minutes. I'm curious, considering how much Nick's teams have run the ball in the past, was this the shortest game under Nick as a head coach?
You did some research on that.
I did. It was 2 hours and 31 minutes. It was the shortest Eagles game on record.
And how long does that go back?
It goes back to 1999, which is a pretty decent sample size, and they've never had a shorter game.
Yeah, and there was a game that was listed as 221. That was a different. You're trying to find the last game that was shorter. Period, right?
Yeah, there
But
was
it was
one that
probably a
was clearly
typo.
mismarked.
It was an overtime game with 30 incomplete passes.
Yeah.
It was listed both on StatHead and NFL Jesus
Yeah.
as 221. I'm guessing there was shorter games back in the day because teams ran all the time and commercial breaks. There weren't commercial breaks because the games weren't on TV.
Yeah.
So I would guess in the 40s there were shorter games, but nobody was keeping track of it. So
231
it's
is
crazy.
outrageous. And if you were watching the game at home on Sunday, you probably felt that because the Eagles game was over and the other games were in like the third quarter.
Yeah, it's true. And like because of the Sixers pregame show, we had an edict that we had to be off the air for postgame by 5:30. We're like, oh, that might really condense the show. And then the game ended at 3:30. We had 2 hours, and we didn't stay on the whole 2 hours, but we stayed on till 5. I don't know what we had till Sixers pregame, but it was crazy. It was crazy how quick it was, and they could all be like that. If it was like that a week before, we would have been able to do a podcast.
Man, I would have not been running through the LAX airport, sweating. It is crazy. They went from their overtime game to the shortest game on record.
Yeah. Yeah. And that game was 3.5, right? I think the Chargers game.
Yeah. Kind of crazy. Like
an hour shorter.
It fluctuates that much.
Yeah.
I give credit to Tanner McKee and the backups on offense for that last drive. That really did it. I mean, they got the ball and you turn your head, they're down inside the red zone. And there's like no time left. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. Tanner doesn't throw many incomplete passes. I've noticed that about him. Very accurate.
It was what, 3 for 3 in that game?
For 33 yards.
Yeah, it looked good.
Threes are wild.
What was that?
I don't know.
Okay. I didn't know if that was a reference that I was supposed to get.
No, I don't know.
Okay. It was a reference
That's like
to nothing.
Bad college basketball announcers. Like if there's like 2:22 left and the score's like 22-22 and the guy's like, twos are wild. I don't know. I hear guys say that.
Okay. I think we're watching different games.
So I have ESPN Plus, and there's always a college basketball game on. I could be watching like Weber State versus Valparaiso. I'll just keep it on in the background.
From Andy.
I don't know why.
Greetings, Dave and Ruben. Thank you for being faithful companions on the long, strange trip this season has been.
Grateful Dead reference.
I was wondering if point differential means anything. I researched and found that the most recent Super Bowl winners ranked 2nd, 6th, 4th, 6th, 4th, 4th, 5th, 1st in regular season point differential. That makes me think it's more likely than not that the Super Bowl winner will be fairly high in the ranking, but of course anything can happen. Right now the Eagles are 10th. What are your thoughts on this, please? So just a little background here. The Eagles are plus 49 this year. When Andy sent this email, they were 13th in point differential. They are up to 10th now, so I changed that for him. Last year, they were plus 160, second in the NFL.
Well, I don't think it's a secret that the teams that have the biggest point differential are the best teams, and they're the teams that are going to have the best chance to play in a Super Bowl. So I don't think that's surprising. I mean, you look at the Eagles 2 years ago, and they were barely winning, kind of like this year, and they were one and done in the playoffs. I think it's very hard. I mean, the Chiefs last year got to a Super Bowl barely beating anybody, but that was the exception, and they lost. They got killed. If you remember.
Did
they? Yeah.
No.
But yeah, I think I think you're going to see the best teams winning by 17, 13, 10 points and not 3 points.
Yeah, over the course of a season, it kind of bears out that way. You know, like you have short spurts of a month or two, and it doesn't tell you everything. One game can be a big outlier, and it changes everything. Over the course of, a 17-game season, those trends start to emerge, certainly. But the Eagles have had a really tough schedule, one of the toughest schedules entering this season. So I think that plays a role, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
We haven't talked since the Mahomes injury.
Yeah.
Brutal injury day.
Yeah.
In the NFL. Micah going down, Mahomes going down. It just sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, those are those are players that if you're a football fan, if you're an Eagles fan, whatever you're a fan of, you just don't want to see Micah Parsons and Patrick Mahomes get hurt.
And the Mahomes is reportedly an ACL and the LCL, which Eagles fans will remember that it makes it a tougher recovery. Carson Wentz had to deal with that. And it's
His
late
former
in the
teammate.
season too, so
Yeah.
I know Mahomes is like trying to get back for the start of next season. It's gonna be tough.
I'll bet Andy Reid likes that Tanner McKee. I wonder if Brett Veach might call his old boss up
Hmm.
with an offer.
How many former Eagles quarterbacks are they going to bring in?
They've had a few.
Mhm.
And I guess Gardner Minshew is going to start. He'll be the fifth former Jalen Hurts backup to start a game this
So
year.
it's it'll be Minshew, Mariota, obviously Pickett,
Flacco
Flacco. Who's the?
for two teams.
That's 4.
And then you have then you have, why didn't you tell me we were going to do this? Because there is another one. And it was Nick Mullins.
You brought it up.
Nick Mullins is a backup with the Jaguars, but he hasn't played yet.
Okay.
It's in my story today, so I don't know. But there is another one.
Okay.
I'll think of it. I'll look it up.
All right.
Keep talking.
You just yelled at me for you bringing something up.
Well, I didn't know you were going to. Oh, I can't even get StatHead on my phone. Do you have StatHead logged into your phone?
No. Did you do that?
No. I probably should.
It's in your stats column though.
Yeah, I think so. I'll find it.
I'm looking now. I don't see it.
Flacco, Mariota. We didn't say Carson.
Oh.
He's 2 so those guys are a combined 6 and 17 as starters this year.
Not great. Next one is from Bob. Hi, guys. Love the pod. Even watch it when I don't want to after heartbreaking loss.
Watch it when I don't want to. I like that.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Even if you don't watch it, like, click play.
I do the pod when I don't want to.
Yeah, go like, if you don't want to watch it, that's fine. Just click play and go like wash the dishes.
Go in the
or
other
something.
room.
Yeah. My question is about the backup running back position. It seems like they haven't replaced the output of Kenny Gainwell. Is it not having the right personnel or not utilizing the players correctly?
I mean, there's been times where, I thought that Tank Bigsby should be getting a few more carries when Saquon was really struggling. But like you have Saquon Barkley, I mean, he's gonna get most of the carries, and he should. I think they like Shipley mainly as a receiver.
He has not had the level of work I thought he was going to have.
Yeah,
Will
same.
Shipley.
Yeah.
And part of that is probably because like he was clearly ahead of AJ Dillon, but then they brought in Tank Bigsby, who's clearly ahead of Shipley.
Yeah.
So like I think he just got bumped down when they made that trade.
Yeah.
But
Clearly.
also like they trusted Kenny Gainwell. They just trusted him. Nick loved him. They trusted him, and he had a defined set of skills that lent itself to a specific role in the offense that these guys just don't really have right now.
But also, I think, and nothing against Miles Sanders and DeAndre Swift, and Swift's having a really good year, but it's different backing up those guys because they're going to come off the field. Saquon just isn't going to come off the field that much.
Yeah, but even last year, I mean,
Gainwell had like a career low in touches.
yeah, but he still had an impact.
A smaller one, but I mean, I would have liked to seen Tank Bigsby play more, and I think he's a really talented kid.
He's given them a little something.
Yeah.
He finally got the work, obviously, when. So in that last game, Saquon got a little banged up early, and Tank came in and looked good. And then late, obviously, he got all that work, running his head into a wall.
Pretty much,
Yeah,
killing his average.
They had like 12 guys in the box.
They had talk about stacked box. He was running into like a brick wall, and he still ran hard. It killed his average down to 6.1.
That bothers you more than him.
It bothers him. It bothers him.
You think?
Yeah.
Is that you just guessing, or do you know it bothers
I
him?
know he's a human being.
Okay.
Who cares about his stats?
All running backs are not shady.
Yeah. No, but I do. I would have liked to seen Bigsby get more snaps. There was one game where Saquon had 26 carries, and just the running game just wasn't going, and Tank never got off the bench or never got any touches. I'd like to see it mixed up a little bit more.
from Reggie. Hey, gents.
Reggie, the dog.
I don't think so. Unless Reggie learned how to type.
Okay,
I don't think so.
he could have dictated it
Uh,
to Matt Leo.
that would have been more impressive than him learning how to type. Is the dog learning how to talk and then dictating it? Hey, gents, your show is the best. I never miss it. Much needed win for the Birds. Sirianni said it well. No one is more resilient than Jalen Hurts. So I heard a radio caller say the Eagles should keep Jordan Davis and Kobe Dean and let Jalen Carter go. I am so against that. I want all three of them and we can figure out someone else to let go. Love to hear your thoughts. Lastly, Rube, favorite Earth, Wind, and Fire song?
Love Earth, Wind, and Fire. Saw him here years ago, I think with Chic opening, which was really cool. I think my favorite Earth, Wind, and Fire song, I'm going to go Getaway.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Getaway, Leave Today. It's because it's got that little keyboard break in the middle.
What does it do?
There was a joke about this guy that brings his dog into a talent agency and says, my dog can talk. I have a talking dog. And the guy's like, let's hear it. And he says, okay, all right, Fido, what goes around a tree? And he goes, bark. And he goes, all right, what do you call sandpaper when it's not smooth? He goes, rough. He says, get out of my office. So they leave his office and they're going down the steps. And the dog says to the guy, why do you always ask me the same stupid questions?
That's good. I've
That's
heard
my
a similar
talking dog
one
joke.
that I will not bore
No,
everyone
come on,
with.
let's hear it. Talking dog joke.
Okay,
Can't go
gosh, I apologize for this in advance. Guy walks into a bar with his dog and tells the bartender, hey, I have a talking dog here. And the bartender goes, no, I'll give you a free drink if he does, but he's not a talking dog. So similar idea. Guy goes, to his dog, say, hey, what's on the top of a house? Dog goes, roof. Guy says, what is sandpaper? Dog goes, roof. And then bartender's getting upset and says, one more time, I'm going to throw you and that dog out the window. Guy goes, who's the best baseball player of all time? Dog goes, roof. And they pick him up and throw him outside. Dog looks at the owner and says, oh, you think I should have said DiMaggio?
wrong.
Same idea. Okay. Next one is from Nooch.
Nooch.
Happy holidays, Dave and Rube. The pod has been the only consistent Eagles thing this season. Thank you both for that. Sad to see Zach Ertz go down like that. If his career does come to an end, I feel he's Eagles Hall of Fame worthy, but is he NFL Hall of Fame worthy? He's 6th all-time in receptions for tight ends, has Pro Bowls and a Super Bowl ring. Welcome your thoughts.
Yeah, I think he falls short, and never was a first team All Pro. Never was an All Pro. I don't believe he was even a second team All Pro. 3 Pro Bowls early in his career. He gets points for the 2 catches in the Super Bowl. I mean, the 4th down one, which was just an unbelievable play. If they don't make that play, I think they lose that game. The way the Patriots were moving the ball and scoring at will, converts that 4th down from Foles. It was like a 4th and 1. Makes a great catch, goes up and gets it, and then obviously the touchdown later on that drive after 3 consecutive Nelson Aguilar catches for first downs, which is crazy. But I just don't think he's got the catches, doesn't have the yards per catch, doesn't have the all pros. Was there ever a point where he was the best? And he's playing in the era with Kittle and Kelsey.
And Gronk for the beginning portion.
And Gronk. So I just think I'd love to see it. Great guy, does so much still in the community here in Philly with his foundation and his house up in Hunting Park for kids, but I think he falls short.
Yeah, he probably does. But all-time great Eagle.
Yeah.
And one day he'll be in the Eagles Hall of Fame.
I hope he can come back and play next year and go out the way he wants.
If he wants to.
If he wants to, I'd love to see him here. I don't know Goddard's future. I think I know. I mean, he's better. He's obviously better than Grant Calcaterra. So even the day he got traded to Arizona, he said he wanted to come back and finish his career.
Mm-hmm.
Only needs 11 catches to break the franchise record. 589. Harold Carmichael, he has 579. So caught a lot of passes. Good player. And the Cincinnati thing, he really grew from that. He became a more physical player.
From James. What's up, guys? Love the pod. Well, Jahad Campbell is officially relegated to a handful of snaps. Love the guy, but I was always puzzled by him as a first-round pick, and now here we are. Hopefully they make a run this year, and Campbell filled in for Dean early on, but now, do they really want to let Dean just walk next year? Guy becomes a key piece and a key leader, and just let him go? Or do you have your first-rounder on the bench next season? What do you think?
Yeah, these are great questions, and I don't know if anyone has any answers right now. I think you draft the best player, and I don't think there was any guarantee Nakobe was going to come back and play at this level. You can't not, and I think Jahad Campbell played well when he was out there. Nakobe's just better, and I don't know. I don't know what you're going to do. I hate to see Nakobe go, but I think there's a chance that it's going to go in that direction.
Yeah, I do too. And it's tough, but yeah, I don't know if they can afford to pay Nakobe.
Yeah.
And because they've already paid Zach Bond, like the whole idea was you draft Jahad Campbell and you have that position, and you kind of put a cheaper young player next to Zach Bond. And it's still exciting thinking about him next to Zach Bond long term. It's just Nakobe's played so well that it kind of changes what you think about the position a little bit.
Yeah. And you can't not draft Jahad Campbell, where they got him at 30. Was it 30?
Mhm.
I mean,
Well, 31.
31. I mean, I think they got a really good player and great value there, a guy who I thought was going to go sooner than that. And you didn't know about Nakobe. I mean, that was a really bad injury, and
Yeah, everyone was hoping he would come back and be healthy, but
just be healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, to come back from that injury and miss that much time. I think he told me he was out 255 days or something, and come back and play like this. I'm not sure anybody expected that.
I want to end it here with Colin. I know you said not to bother with gathering the podcast's all-time stats, but as a software engineer, I felt uniquely positioned to do just that.
All right.
And I will forward you this email, Rube, so you have all the numbers in front of you.
Okay.
Crazy work. Found all the stats for every year the podcast has been published below, as well as the all-time stats. So he gave us a lot of information. I don't need to regurgitate all of it.
We got to be around 990, though, I would think. We're getting close.
So total, we are 993 episodes.
Including this one?
No.
Okay.
So whenever he sent this, he didn't know when we're going to read it.
He didn't.
These are his numbers.
All
So I guess 995 probably at this
Something
point.
like that.
Total duration, 796 hours, 8 minutes, and 49 seconds. Average duration of a podcast, 48 minutes and 6 seconds. Now, most of our pods are longer than that, but during training camp, we have daily ones, and they sometimes skew a little.
Plus, the one we
shorter.
did last Tuesday morning was only like 12 minutes.
Yeah,
so
and
that
we have
really
some emergency
knocked
podcasts
down the
here and
average.
there
Yeah.
that bring it down, but still a pretty good average, 48 minutes.
It is.
I did the math. That is over 33 days.
No wonder we're sick of each other.
It's me just talking to you for 33 days. It's a month of
my
our lives.
God. That's an interesting
Yeah.
way to put it.
But
I don't think Gilligan and the skipper talk to each other that much.
our total episodes are up this year. Our previous high was 2023 and 2024. We had 139 episodes.
Each year we had exactly 139.
139. This year, we were at 151. So we're obviously over 150. We're going to continue to add to that. And we've already eclipsed total time. We were at 133 hours when Colin sent this email. So,
well, it makes sense because we were doing so many like at the Super Bowl, and that was this calendar year.
Sure.
And then we've done more emergency.
Yeah, we did
pods.
a daily one in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Had a bunch of emergency podcasts. We did a daily one in training camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then every time Howie made a trade, we did an emergency pod. There's been like 30 of those.
Yeah. Sometimes they probably think about this. I was on vacation during the bye week, and I raced back to my hotel to do a Michael Carter emergency podcast. Probably didn't need to do that.
Yeah. But
at the time, it was fun.
Yeah. Some of those trades you never know. I think we did a Jair Alexander emergency pod.
We did, yeah.
Like 4 days later, he
that pod was
retires.
actually longer than his time here.
It was.
So thank you for that, Colin. Very cool. We appreciate that. You didn't have to do it, but you did. And that's why you guys are the best. So
Appreciate it.
keep sending us your Spotify raps. Love to see that. If you enjoy the Eagle Eye podcast, please rate and subscribe wherever you get your pods. If you're watching on YouTube, click that like button and subscribe there as well. Rube, any final thoughts today?
No, I hope everybody was safe during the blizzard of 25.
Got more snow in my place than I expected.
Yeah, what'd you get?
I think it was ended up being a little over 6 inches.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
You get less than that?
I got about 4.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's tough to tell because you get the snow drift, but I have a back deck and I can normally get a pretty good sense there. And yeah, I think it was a little over 6.
I like it. I just don't like dealing with it.
Yeah. My last item today, someone brought in Good and Plenty's.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'd ever had a
I
Good
think
and Plenty.
Barkan. I think someone said
Michael
Barkan. brought them
Barkan?
in. Yeah.
Not for me. Not for
Yeah.
me. That is my parents' brand of candy, just a bad old candy. Not doing it for me. It's like a
Yeah.
Bit-O honey or like a Necco wafer.
Oh, yeah.
Is there any bad candy that you like that you know is not good, but you're like, I kind of like
I
it?
don't think so. I don't know. No.
I have a weird one I've been into. I buy bags of them. Orange Lifesavers.
Ew.
Like they look like mint. They're like white. They're like speckles of orange in there. I like those quite a bit.
I always hate when somebody says wintergreen. It's wintergreen. It's WINTOGREEN.
Yeah. Well, you've always been a Lifesaver company man.
It's not wintergreen. Don't say wintergreen. They're wintergreen. This
All
is
right.
important to me.
Let's wrap this up.
This is why we have 33 days of podcast.
For Ruben Frank,
Talk about wintergreen lifesavers.
I'm Dave Zangaro. This has been Eagle Eye, presented by Nissan. We'll talk to you soon.